Oh, you speak German. That's good to hear. A little bit. Yeah, it's exciting to see you here on the screen virtually. But if as we haven't met each other, please introduce yourself first.
So my name's Carin Thamke. I am based out of St. Louis, work in the IT organization, and I am a digital lead working within product supply. But I've had agriculture in my background for many, many, many years. I grew up on a farm, did all of the agriculture things, and so it's in my soul to work within the agriculture, which is why I really love aligning with crop science and Bayer. So, Rolf, how about yourself?
Oh, thanks for asking. Yeah, so my name is Rolf Krahnert, German name, and yeah, I started my career at Bayer in 2006, and yeah, different locations, different stations in controlling tax. I worked as a CFO in Asia before I came back to Germany in 2018, and here I'm responsible for auditing, and I'm responsible for pharma and consumer health commercial audits here. And just tell me a little bit about yourself as you were growing up on a farm. What motivated you to join Monsanto and then later Bayer?
So in Missouri, there's several different agriculture opportunities that you could have within Missouri. I moved to St. Louis shortly after college, and about the biggest agriculture company in the Missouri House technically was Monsanto at the time, and so it was kind of a dream to work at Monsanto. I had a little bit of an IT background, but that was not my formal education. So, but I think I had specific skill sets that they were looking for, maybe outside of the normal to work in IT, and they kind of took a chance on me, and it just kind of blossomed. I really enjoyed working there.
Ah, okay. And on your current position, how long are you in your current position? Tell
Oh, my
me.
current position, I've been in here for about 8 months, 9 months since August.
Okay.
IT infrastructure, I would say, is
Yeah.
kind of where I got started. But there's a lot about communications or business architecture that I would say that I probably enjoy a little bit more than infrastructure. But I do enjoy this role. I've gotten to know more people. I have more opportunities to work with people from Germany. And so I'm really enjoying that level of connection to kind of broaden my culture, if you will. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, so same from my side. I'm also very happy to work in my current position. As I mentioned, auditing, not everybody would say that's the dream position, but I can tell you and make yeah, you motivated one day perhaps to join even audit because this is really an exciting function here. We have young talents here, a great pool of young talents. We are very much focusing on digital solutions. So we may have some touch points on that point. We are looking on analytics, and we have a lot of great insights into the company. So much more than you can imagine. So we are very free to look into all details. And I think we are also since yeah some years also changing the approaches of auditing more to a collaborative approach. We have a very good discussion with auditors. For sure, we need to do trusted assessments, but in that sense, I have the great opportunity to see and get in touch with a lot of people, different cultures at Bayer. So that's the exciting thing, working with young talents, working with different cultures, digital, agile way of working.
You mentioned analytics, and I never would have thought about analytics and audit. And as a matter of fact, the role that I worked in previously to this was all about manufacturing data and analytics for product supply. So we did a
Yeah.
lot of analytics. There's a lot of different models that we built within the field space, trying to predict yield, trying to predict growth cycles, et cetera. And so, taking that same mindset, that decision science, and applying it to audit would be extremely exciting. So I would love to learn more about what would that look like in audit, because so many people don't think of audit in that way.
I think we have a lot of people in at Bayer in this field of working digital, working in analytical functions. But we at Audit, we have a specific department called Audit and Analytics, and they are doing yeah, great analysis, mass data analysis. We use different systems to have yeah, very good insights which we can use for our focused audits, risk perspectives, and for sure we also support the business when we invent certain tools and we
Right.
provide them to the business. But tell me a little bit about your current yeah, career perspectives, and I think this talk is also a little bit about looking at what Bayer can provide as a great company. So what would be your current yeah, plans for the next years to come?
Oh, that is the excellent what do you want to be when you grow up question. That's how I always attach myself to that. Um, so the current role that I'm in as an IT digital lead is kind of a wide variety of responsibility. You have the opportunity to be strategic and start making plans about how is the digital transformation going to happen, you know, within manufacturing, within the lab space, etc. Or there may be an opportunity where you have to turn around and kind of be an escalation point when, let's say, a tool is breaking and you're not getting, you know, the responses that you need. And so you kind of have a foot on the business side and you have a foot on the IT side, and you're supposed to kind of be that glue. And it's a very different type of role, but I would say I thrive in this type of role because I really enjoy having a foot in both. Um, and I would say that a lot of the business analyst roles that I've done in the past and or product management roles I've done in the past, and especially the business architect roles I've done in the past, um, all of those skill sets that I've done have kind of gotten me to where I am today. But I am looking into like what is my next goal? What's my next career? And I would really love to be able to you know, maybe lead a team either within the strategic user design space, user experience space, human design space. I find passion there. But then I also see the opportunity of potentially working within like some sort of a strategy governance role where I would be leading a team of either business architects and or potentially maybe some analysts that could work within our IT teams or even within our business teams. I would see whatever that type of role is, that's what I would be great at. What about yourself? What are you looking for?
I first of all, I must say I'm very satisfied with my current position. A real great job because I love to work with different nations, with different people, with different cultural aspects. Then this cool digital things which we are experimenting every day makes me very excited. And then also being close to the business. As I mentioned, I'm looking for pharma and consumer health business. I would love to keep on my journey, being close to the business, seeing Bear as one. So being also a little bit flexible with the next move, similar to you, because I don't want to be fixed on one position. I want to be open for offers which are in the same area. So may it be analytical things, may it be in finance, CFO functions. So there's a lot of great opportunities, but it may be also closer to the business. Yeah. So here, you know, we are well prepared. We are having our skill set, and important is the development dialogue with the supervisor. And I just yesterday I had a good dialogue. Therefore, I'm also very motivated. And I can recommend you also to have a good development dialogue with your supervisor, as it is one of the instruments we use here.
Yes. That is something that I will say is new to me is the Bayer way. So there are some differences that I'm noticing in how development is discussed.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm relearning this all over again. Um, so I appreciate you know, the life values that we talk about
Yeah.
in and that being our core conversation piece. And right now with my lead, we're just starting the what are your strengths and then what are your development opportunities. And so there's definitely some areas that I think for me, in order for me to reach that next level, whether that be a team lead or director level, there's probably pieces of finance that I need to learn that I haven't had the opportunity to do yet. There's probably specific conflict management that I need to be aware of that maybe in my current roles or my past roles, I haven't had to work through pieces of that. So there are quite a bit of conversations that are going to happen with me and my direct lead,
Yeah.
probably over the next couple of months in order for me to prepare for the what do I want to do when I grow up.
Yeah, no, it's I think important first to have this good discussion with the supervisor, to have an open and honest discussion of where you want to go. And my experience is also most of the job assignments you get, they are developing you in a certain way. And here I can recommend you also to look, for example, for a short-term assignment or for kind of job shadowing. There's also some flexibility, which brings you, yeah, or gives you at least some insights on opportunities you may take in the future assignments. Yeah, and yeah, here, for example, we at Internal Audit and Risk Management, so it's the name of our department, we are providing opportunities for guest auditors, for example. Yeah,
Oh,
so we are giving some people the possibility to join for an audit, 6 weeks, getting insights on audits, on our whole process, and then yeah, having yeah perhaps the idea to join at one day or to at least take some experience out for their own career path. And so it's a very flexible tool. Yeah, you can use besides short-term assignments, long-term assignments, and so on.
that's really interesting. I think that's a fantastic way to introduce people into audit. I would say for my personal view of audit, I feel that it's beyond my reach, even if I was interested in it, because I've never done it before. So if it's something that am interested in doing, how would I get into that? And having a guest audit option sounds amazing for kind of that trial run. You kind of get to see what it's in. Like, is this really for me? Is this not for me?
Yeah, right.
I think that's fantastic that you guys are doing that. And the short-term assignment piece of that, I have considered it. I still have some family obligations here, so I kind of feel like I still need to stick around. But I have talked a little bit about that with my current boss, like maybe in a few years, a short-term assignment opportunity within Germany. But I am looking forward, like I really want the opportunity to travel, across the continents and get to know and understand the culture more. So, a lot of those, I would say a lot of the positions that provide that opportunity for travel, that's kind of what I'm looking for so that I can broaden my horizon, broaden my experience, and I feel like that may be the next step up for me in order to gain the experience that I need for maybe some of the roles that I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think in our days, there's a lot of possibility also virtually. Yeah, we have also short-term assignments, even guest audits, purely focused on a virtual assignment. So that's all possible. For sure, the best is also to connect personally to people because we have a great team spirit here and to see the people in person. Yeah, to join into a evening dinner or something that is also connecting very well.
So I would love to know, Rolf, some of the highlights in your career. What do you feel really amplified how you felt about where you are in your career, but also maybe kind of kickstarted maybe another branch of your career?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Um, so career is always a way. Yeah, so it's a journey, and I'm still on this journey, and I'm very excited to be on this journey. But for sure, there were real great experiences I had in the past 20 years, I must say. I started as an auditor, external auditor at PricewaterhouseCoopers with a strong tax background. So tax consultant. And then I joined Bayer in 2006 in the tax department. And now I'm here after this period of several locations in between in audit. And I can tell you that was always a very exciting journey. The first 4 years were really exciting because we had a big M&A transaction, which I was involved. So we acquired Sharing at this time, a German pharma company. So very exciting times, a great department with really nice people. I love to, every morning I went to work, I was really glad and having such a great company. And then came times where I moved to more to the business, where I still was located in Germany, responsible for yeah, intercompany transactions, and here yeah, for transfer pricing and controlling tasks. Also very exciting, a little bit more tough. First time was a team responsibility, leading a global team. So yeah, a new experience, lessons learned also sometimes. Yeah, good and sometimes difficult experiences that made me also in this like next step of taking things a little bit more on a managerial level. And then I had the chance to move yeah, to South Korea, and I was there for nearly 6 years. And that was for sure one of the most impressive experience in my life. Yeah, so first being responsible for a platform function for the business that was called central administration, with different really business related tasks like commercial excellence, market research tasks, distributor management, logistics, finance, really great topics. And then over the time, there was further development of those functions, and it was combined with the CFO function. So I was leading a pretty large team, very different culture to the German culture, but I really got connected to those people. I'm still very close to them, and I'm happy to get their greetings every time. So Koreans can be very personal, very social. I really loved to live there. So that was one of the great experiences also for my family. Who was with me with my little boys growing up there, going to school in
Oh,
Seoul. So I can tell you, it was one of the biggest excitements I ever had. And then moving back to Germany and having a kind of reverse cultural shock. Yeah, so Germany is different, and now getting in touch again with the German culture and with a new team with young people, very young people. Auditors are passionate, Generation Z, but also senior auditors, so a large variety of people, and also very exciting and to get in touch with the people to understand their motivations, yeah, and still excites me. So I'm pretty happy to be here to have this kind of different perspectives which Bayer offered to me.
how did your family adjust when you moved?
To Korea or back?
Oh, well, that's a okay. A dual question,
Two
absolutely.
sides, right? Because there's always a crying eye, yeah. So and I think coming to Korea, that was at the beginning only a tough call.
Uh-huh.
Different culture. We had a baby with us, getting the right food, all this kind of challenges, but
Right.
we overcame very quickly after 4 or 5 months. And
Right.
then it was fantastic. We had a great environment with nice people, colleagues, but also new friends. And then coming back, yeah, that's also a challenge. Yeah, so you are used to have this very exciting life, traveling a lot, seeing other cultures, then moving back to Germany, meeting the old friends, family. So also, yeah, amazing, nice. But you leave also something behind you, yeah. So that was also a challenge, but yeah, makes the life very exciting.
That's a beautiful story. I love hearing the opportunities where people are able to go to another country, based on their careers, stay for a little bit and then come back. Like I feel like that is something that I know that I would love to do, given the right time. Um, I think it really opens your eyes to not only culture but just humanity in general, because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, it doesn't matter what company you're working for, you just you want to have that human connection. And so and everybody does human connection differently. And
Yeah.
so that's something that I love about Bayer in terms of there's so many ways to have that human connection. It could be your everyday job here, and you could have somebody visiting here for a week from another country, and you may have this awkward moment at
Yeah.
the beginning, like, nice to meet you, but by the end of the week, you're giving each other hugs and how's your wife and how's your kid, and you become friends.
Yeah, and it's one family, as you said. Yeah, you go abroad, but you meet people from Bayer there, and then you feel like, yeah, I'm kind of still I'm kind of home. So and that is exciting for me, and was, by the way, one of the reasons why I wanted to join a company like Bayer when I was in the consulting field. I said, okay, I want to have connections to a lot of different people, and also to have the opportunity to go abroad for a while. And yeah, it turned out to be truth. Yeah, so now I would say I only recommend to do the same. Just try to connect to all people around the world and try to travel if possible. And yeah, and connect to people from different cultures. Yeah, so that's a great opportunity you get at Bayer. Well, Karen, it's time for a halftime break, but I have an exciting question for you, and it's going in your direction for being digital. What role do you think digital transformation will play in shaping the future of work, and how can Bayer leverage digital tools and technologies to drive innovation and maintain a competitive advantage? Complex question, I must say, for a halftime break, right?
It is a complex question. But I do feel like it's an area that I've lived in for a while, so it doesn't, scare me off too much. Um, I think one of the things that we have to be ready for is always analyze what is trending, right? So currently, artificial intelligence is trending, you know, and so how do we break into that, and how do we do it ethically? I think that itself is another big question. I think up to now, what we have been doing and we've been succeeding is leveraging our analytical teams, our decision science teams to push the envelope in terms of predictability and forecasting and providing that as a service to our consumers. Not everybody can do that as a digital tool. So not only can we do that within our own operations, but be able to do that on the consumer side. And if we tap in to the artificial intelligence in an appropriate manner, I think we could maintain that edge that maybe some other places cannot. So that's
Mhm.
my answer, but I would love to hear your answer from an IT audit side and what you've been doing. Or
Oh,
an audit side, excuse me, I said IT audit.
yeah, IT audit is also one part of our department. So no, it's touching the right point. I think digital is also kind of mindset. First, you need to have the right mindset. Yeah, so being open to experiment, not to do things all the time the same, but really to question things, to do it differently. So that's the first starting point, and in particular, for sure, with the younger generation, you find a lot of people being very agile, very flexible, and that's what I like. Yeah. So also challenging me in my sometimes well set patterns. Yeah. And yeah, digital is a broad range of things. Yeah. So is it analytical? Is this using apps? Is everything? Yeah. And here we need to be experimental. We need to also take risks. That's also a mindset questions. Yeah. So are we allowing making mistakes, experimenting? And I think here we are improving step by step. We are still on a journey, but we need to empower people to experiment, to use new things, to do things in a different way. And I think that is my point on being digital, being flexible, and leveraging new cool things like ChatGPT. We use it currently for at least a pulse check when we write risk statements. Yeah, so getting an indication, and you're sometimes really amazed about what this tool can provide as answers. For sure, you need to have a critical view on it. But nevertheless, experimenting is all about this, and also using data analytics, looking at mass data, and trying to find out certain patterns is fascinating. And here, yeah, I think learning about what leverage and benefits you can have out of digital tools is something very exciting for me.
I'm wondering though, like when you're talking about audit in the current role that you're playing in some of these digital transformation tools, what I
Yeah.
would love to understand is where is like your kind of your digital strategic roadmap happening now compared to say even 3 or 5 years ago? Let's say pre-COVID as an example. So
Mhm.
how much has that changed even within the audit world to advance into better digital transformation?
Yeah, thanks for this question. Um, I think COVID had a huge impact on kind of urgency. Yeah, overnight we were forced to stop our audits, which were usually done on site. That means meant at that times travel to, I would say, 80-90%. So you had at least as an auditor 7 travels per year to different locations.
Okay.
And then suddenly we couldn't travel. So we were forced to use different ways of auditing because we didn't want to stop, and we still were very successful conducting a huge part of our audits because we were, yeah, in a very quick time able to switch to Teams conferences on the one hand side, but also to use more the analytics which we have to get more insights and to use this more intensively because we didn't have any other chance. Yeah.
Right.
So, and that led, and after COVID, or if we can say this after COVID, but after the relief of the restrictions, I would say, we learned that we can do audits in a different way, and now we are doing hybrid audits. We travel even not 50% of what we had before. So we do a lot of audits still virtually. So that's one of the topics where I say it's not always needed to say I need to travel as an auditor. There is more flexibility now. And also, yeah, to be pushed to develop new tools. And we are for sure having on the analytical sides develop a lot of new things, but also on, I would say, visualization of yeah, patterns, like using Power BI, Tableau to visualize certain connections also during the audit. And that was heavily used during this time. People were really eager also to learn those things. They had the time also at home. And yeah, after this time, we were even stronger. So a crisis can have also some benefits, I would say.
I think so. That does sound really interesting. It really changed even your own culture, your team culture, and how you
Yeah,
worked. I think it happened to everybody. Let's be honest, it happened to everybody. But
yeah, yeah,
I don't know enough about the audit world to know like how much did that change. And now you're able to actually technically probably save the company money by not doing all the traveling that you used to do, the traditional audit way. So I think that's
yeah.
fantastic.
What motivates you on your daily job when you go to work? That's I would be interesting.
Oh, that's a really good question. And I'll have to ask you back on that one too, because um, so what really motivates me? I think honestly, I just enjoy working with people. I know that's pretty generic, but
Yeah.
I really get a lot out of collaborating with people and driving like, okay, this is a problem, and let's figure it out. Let's fix it. Let's figure out a way to fix it. But I also am. I would say that I am not traditional in many ways, where I try to put some fun in there and take some of the formality out. I try to joke around with people. I want it to be fun. I want it to be enjoying. So one of the things that I like to do, I like to create memes and put them in the chat and make people
Cool.
laugh depending on what's going on. And it kind of breaks up the monotony of the
Yeah.
meeting sometimes. And but I enjoy that. I enjoy that connection with people, and so for me,
Yeah.
that's what motivates me.
Yeah.
How about you?
Wow. You're just speaking out of my heart. Yeah. So laughing is so much relaxing and we should not forget that we need to have fun and that with a fun culture you can achieve even more. No, that's same for me. What really motivates is a different I would say one, two, three topics. Yeah. So first, as you say, it's people and for sure my little micro environment, the department itself. I have very nice colleagues, peers, team members, um, uh, yeah, all other people around me. So which who I know since a while and really became friends. So that's motivating to go to work, to meet those people, to have also a chat by a coffee or so. So that's the one thing. The other thing is for sure also that we get a lot of possibility to create something new, and here we are having a lot of possibilities and empowerment to create new ways of working. We are currently moving into this new normal office concept. We are creating new processes, how to go with audit fields and considering new aspects. Very open. We engage and empower team members and say, hey, try to experiment and come with a solution and an idea, and give them freedom to yeah sit together and to be engaged. Yeah, and that is motivating to see also then great results. Really, sometimes eye opening for me. So that is also motivating. And then for sure, what I really like is and what motivates is this professionalism and this huge different cultures which all connect together. And that is also fascinating. Yeah, I must say, and that's the reason why I love to be here.
That's awesome. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, Rolf. So, given everything that we have talked about, it'd be really interesting to know and understand in your world of audit, what are the top three skill sets that you need for your area of expertise? And we can start with number three and move up to number one.
All right. Okay. Thanks for this question. Number three, I would say very important is team player. So you need to be a team player. You're working in teams with different people, different cultures. So you need to be very open for different people, to be connective and to enjoy working with other people.
Awesome. I think for my role as a digital lead, business partner, I think I would say my number three would be navigation. Because, uh,
Okay.
yeah, so you have to be able to know and understand how to navigate across the different organizations and who has what skill set and where that needs to come into a particular problem. So there was a colleague of mine that said that you're basically an air traffic controller, and so that's really stuck with me.
Okay.
And so I like to use that whenever I kind of have a moment of like, what am I doing? Navigation. I'm doing navigation. I'm navigating with all the people. So it's
Mhm.
an interesting skill set that I never thought I'd have to learn.
Okay. Yeah,
So
but
what's your
sometimes.
number two?
Yeah, my number two, I would say, and that is what we discussed already, is this digital mindset, for sure connected with analytical skills. Yeah, so we look young talents, new joiners, all who are joining from different functions or from even external. We look at their mindset of using things in a digital way, in an analytical way, That is for sure very important because we need to go into depth, into details to find deviations from expected policies or ideal situations. So here you need to be very clear and sharp in your recommendations and your observations. How about your number two?
Well, my number two, at least for me, I feel like with my role as a digital lead business partner, I need to know and understand the big picture. So, what is the overarching strategy, and what does that big picture um, look like in the end? Because you can't complete the big picture in a day, but you can take segments of that picture and essentially build out the puzzle over time. So I think most of the digital leads and business partners that I have been working with, they're looking ahead, they're looking forward, in addition to understanding current state. So it's taking that balance, bridging that balance.
All right, interesting.
What about your number one? What's the big one?
The big one. Let me think. Listening skills, I would say. So also going in the leadership topic, um, the skill set is not like we do a kind of power play and use borrowed authority. We are really looking on people who are able to ask questions in a very kind and smart way to understand what is the situation about, to give people freedom to be fair, to be under colleagues, and that is a great skill set which you can use also for other functions and in your career. So I think all is about, I would say, active listening.
Yeah,
That's important.
that's awesome.
And now I'm very curious about your number one.
My number one. So I think listening is important, but what I have noticed the most with myself as well as my peers and my colleagues is, and this seems generic, but we lead with a purpose, right? So we are there in the room to kind of make sure that everyone is kind of going in the right path, making sure that they're following the big picture, and if we're getting off course, this goes back to the navigation. Like, are we going in the right direction? Do we have the right people? And having those connections. So Rolf, you mentioned previously, how today you're working with, a new generation of younger folks that are coming in and bringing in new ideas. So if someone was looking to join Bayer today, whether they're brand new in their career, maybe they're mid-career, but they've never worked for Bayer before, what are some of the advices that you can give? What do you think they should start with within Bayer to join us?
Yeah, thanks for this question. I think as I currently have quite a few people who joined external and also internal, different ages, young professional, experienced professionals. Um, I see excited faces. That's good. That's a good feeling I have. And why? Because first they have a good comparison with external, so now they see internal buyer, and pretty many are really saying, wow, great, what you can offer here as career possibilities, like being at audit for 3 5 years maximum and then moving to another function. That's really exciting, and that's really honest, a good commitment. We see we have good examples, and then also being excited to have this great tool set. Yeah, so we have great tools, analytical tools, playing with data, being empowered already as a young professional, as in an entry position, but for sure also even more on a more senior position. And then what they also enjoy is we have a certain culture at Bayer, and this culture is very friendly. That is what the people like. It's not like blaming on each other. We are clear, we are smart on our topics, but it's always with a smile, and therefore I have at least currently the feeling that the new joiners really enjoy being at Bayer, and for sure they also fully align with our mission statement. They like that's one of the reasons why they applied at Bayer. So I think they like this combination of health sector and also the whole crop science, crop protection field, and that's the reason why they joined. Yeah, so they have also a clear understanding on purpose, and that is making them very motivated. How about you? What's your perspective on this? You joined Bayer not long ago.
Did. I did. Well, and I would say I'm probably a little biased, right? Because I
Yeah,
was pre-Monsanto, but you know, now that Bayer has, the crop science side of the house, so you have the crop science side of the house, you have the pharma side, and you have the consumer health side. So I feel like this company just has a breadth of opportunity, not only just in roles, but in divisions and function and specific, areas of focus. There's so many different roles that this particular company can offer. And one of the things that I thought is really neat that I didn't even know existed was, I think it's called a rotation program. I'm probably
yeah,
not saying it correctly.
mm,
But the rotation program allows, like, say, a younger professional to come in and they move from team to team to team, and they kind of figure out, like, well, I really like what I did over here. Whether you're a new person or maybe someone that's been around for a while, like the short-term assignments, you're talking about the 6-week guest audit, like, they want people to try things. They want people to move around. They want to keep that because honestly, if you're like me, I like to do something different every once in a while. I want to do something,
yeah,
I get comfortable in my role and I want to move. I want to
yeah.
try something different. And I feel like Bayer has that opportunity. So maybe someday I'll not want to be in crop science anymore. Maybe I want to do consumer health. I may have that opportunity and I just have to let my lead or my team know, like, I want to go work over here. How do I get over there? And I start making those connections.
If you look at my past experience, there were so many different aspects, and yeah, I built up a network which is really great in all three divisions in the enabling functions, and so that is something you can really rely on. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's have a further talk on our or at our coffee chat. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes, I am too. So I will definitely set that up. I now have a new appreciation for audit that I never thought I would.
Thanks.
So congratulations to you, Rolf. You did a really good job
Thank
of
you.
selling that particular department. So I will definitely set up that meeting, and I would love to learn more and have a little bit more of a kind of a one-on-one with you. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, it was really great talking to you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, you have a wonderful day. So
Yeah, it's
have a
going into the evening now, but you just started, so enjoy the rest of the day.
wonderful evening. We will talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.